Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're tackling a massive question that many of you have asked. Canada or the USA? Which one is the better place to live? This is a huge decision, whether you're thinking about moving for work, school, or just a change of scenery. Both countries are incredible, but they offer very different lifestyles. So, in this video, we're going to break it all down, from healthcare and the cost of living to job opportunities and culture, to help you figure out which North American giant might be the right fit for you. Let's dive in. First up, let's talk about something everyone cares about: healthcare. This is probably the single biggest difference between the two countries. In Canada, they have a publicly funded healthcare system, often called Medicare. This means that essential medical services, like visiting a doctor or staying in a hospital, are covered by taxes. You show your health card, not your credit card. Now, it's not perfect. Wait times for specialists or certain procedures can be long, and things like dental, vision, and prescription drugs often require private insurance, which many people get through their employers. Now let's cross the border to the United States. The US has a primarily private, employer-based healthcare system. The quality of care can be absolutely world-class, with cutting-edge technology and shorter wait times for specialists. However, it comes at a price. Health insurance is expensive, and even with good insurance, co-pays, deductibles, and out-of-pocket costs can add up quickly. A major medical issue without adequate insurance can lead to serious financial trouble. So the trade-off is clear. Canada offers universal access with potential waits, while the US offers potentially faster, top-tier care, but at a significant financial cost and risk. Next, let's get into the cost of living. This one is tricky because it varies so much depending on where you live in each country. A downtown apartment in Vancouver or Toronto is going to be just as expensive, if not more so, than one in New York or Los Angeles. Generally speaking, major Canadian cities have seen housing prices skyrocket, making them some of the most expensive in the world. On the other hand, things like groceries, gasoline, and cell phone plans tend to be more expensive in Canada. In the US, while major coastal cities are notoriously pricey, there are many more mid-sized and large cities across the country where the cost of living, especially housing, is much more affordable. You can often get more house for your money in places like Texas, Ohio, or Georgia compared to what you'd find in Ontario or British Columbia. So while Canada's big cities are pricey, the US offers a wider spectrum of affordability if you're flexible about your location. You really need to compare specific cities to get the full picture. What about jobs and the economy? This is where the US really flexes its muscles. The sheer size and diversity of the American economy mean there are often more opportunities across a wider range of industries, especially in tech, finance, and entertainment. Salaries, particularly for high-skilled professionals, are generally higher in the US than for the equivalent job in Canada. Plus, American work culture is often seen as more dynamic and go-getter, with a strong emphasis on ambition and career progression. Canada's job market is strong too, particularly in sectors like natural resources, banking, and a growing tech scene in cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal. However, the market is smaller, which can mean less choice and slightly more competition for top-tier roles. The Canadian work culture is often described as having a better work-life balance. There's a stronger emphasis on taking vacation time, and the pace can be a bit more relaxed compared to the high-pressure environments you might find in some US corporate settings. So, if your top priority is maximizing your income and climbing the career ladder as fast as possible, the US might have the edge. If a steady career with a good work-life balance is more your style, Canada is a very strong contender. Now, let's talk about education. Both countries have excellent universities. The US is home to a majority of the world's top-ranked universities like Harvard, Stanford, and MIT. The American university system is massive and diverse, offering an incredible range of programs. However, the cost of higher education in the US is astronomical. Student debt is a major issue for millions of Americans, with tuition at private universities running into the tens of thousands of dollars per year. Canadian universities like the University of Toronto, McGill, and UBC are also highly respected globally and offer a world-class education. The big difference? The price tag. While not cheap, tuition fees in Canada are significantly lower for both domestic and international students compared to their American counterparts. This makes getting a degree in Canada a much more financially manageable proposition. For families with kids, the public school systems in both countries are generally good, but quality can vary dramatically from one neighborhood to the next. Let's move on to culture, lifestyle, and social values. This is where you feel the day-to-day difference. Canada is officially a multicultural country, and this is deeply embedded in its identity, especially in big cities like Toronto, where over half the population was born outside of Canada. There's a strong emphasis on politeness, community, and social safety nets. Canadians are generally seen as more reserved and collectivist. Politically, the country is more liberal on average, with stronger gun control laws and a general consensus on things like universal health care. The United States, on the other hand, is a true melting pot of cultures, but with a stronger emphasis on individualism and personal freedom. It's a country of incredible diversity, energy, and patriotism. The culture is more expressive, and Americans are often seen as more outgoing and direct. The political landscape is more polarized, with a wider spectrum of beliefs. The pace of life often feels faster, and there's a powerful sense of optimism and the American dream. The idea that anyone can achieve success through hard work. It really comes down to what kind of social environment you thrive in. The polite, community-focused vibe of Canada, or the individualistic, high-energy dynamism of the US. Let's touch on a few other important points. For safety, Canada consistently ranks as one of the safest countries in the world, with significantly lower rates of violent crime and a near-total absence of mass shootings due to strict gun laws. While most of the US is very safe, crime rates, particularly gun violence, are statistically higher. When it comes to nature and travel, both are winners. Canada is a paradise for nature lovers, with vast, untouched wilderness, majestic mountains, and stunning national parks. But its sheer size and colder climate can make travel within the country challenging. The US offers an unbelievable variety of landscapes in a more accessible package. From the beaches of Florida and California to the deserts of Arizona, the mountains of Colorado, and the forests of the Pacific Northwest. Plus, domestic travel is generally cheaper and easier in the US. So, after all that, what's the verdict? Canada or the US? The truth is, there's no single better country. It completely depends on you and your priorities. If your top priorities are safety, affordable healthcare for your family, a good work-life balance, and a more community-oriented liberal society, Canada is probably your answer. You're trading slightly lower salaries and higher taxes for a robust social safety net and peace of mind. If your main goals are to maximize your career opportunities and earning potential, have access to a wider variety of affordable cities, and you thrive in a fast-paced individualistic culture with unparalleled consumer choice, then the United States might be the perfect fit. You're trading the security of a public safety net for greater economic opportunity and personal freedom. Ultimately, the best thing you can do is visit both. Spend time in the cities you're considering. Talk to people who live there. See which culture clicks with you. What feels like home? Is it the quiet politeness of a Toronto suburb or the buzzing energy of a Chicago neighborhood? Only you can answer that. Thanks so much for watching this deep dive into the Canada versus US debate. I hope this breakdown gave you a lot to think about. What do you think? If you've lived in both countries, share your experience in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next video. See you next time.